This week, it's one of those weeks where we're going beyond the Carolinas. We're talking about the whopper of a blizzard that impacted the Northeast, and we're going all the way to New Jersey to do it with that guy. Peter's back, everybody, so stay tuned. The Carolina Weather Group starts right now. Welcome to the Carolina Weather Group. We are streaming live with you on Facebook and YouTube on this Wednesday, February the 25th, 2026. And hello to everyone who's watching or listening elsewhere later on the replay. We welcome you in as well, too. I'm James Brierton, Charlotte, North Carolina. We got Frank Strait in Columbia, South Carolina. Sam Walker will be along from the Outer Banks shortly. And the man in the middle is a face you haven't seen in a minute here in the Carolina Weather Group. But Peter Planamente is back with us from New Jersey. Matter of fact, you may not know this if you're new to our show, but he is actually CWG's chief New Jersey correspondent. That's right. I've just made that up on the spot.
Is that my new title now?
That's your new title. It's on the screen and everything. It's official.
Nice.
Yeah. No other weather podcast from the Carolinas has invested on a New Jersey bureau, but this show has. And this week it paid off because Peter shot this video of the blizzard, the great blizzard, the epic blizzard of 2026, which, by the way, I'm just going to let everybody know that we're just going to talk and we're just going to let this video roll, because if you're watching with us, this is 5.5 minutes of video that is just going to incrementally get more insane as it goes. And Peter, you shot this over the course of how many hours?
Probably a 24-hour period.
24-hour period. And it's just going to... You tell it better than me. How did this play out? It started Sunday night, right?
Yeah, so it really started Sunday morning as rain. Wasn't even anything that crazy just yet. And as it got through the afternoon, the cold air started coming in as the storm intensified in the ocean. And the snow just came down in buckets. I mean, it was just pouring snow, as you can see in some of this video coming up. And it just got worse and worse through the night, kept accumulating more and more. And by Monday morning, I was up to 19 inches of snow in front of my house, and blowing and drifting snow, just craziness for a good 24 hours.
There is a point in this video, and I will invite viewers just to stay tuned for it, because it must be the moment where you finally went to bed, because you have a lot of snow, and then we flash frame, and you have a ton of snow.
That's right.
Several hours must have passed. And it looks like the world. Audio podcast listeners, I'm sure you've seen it on the news by now, but watching your video in particular, Peter, where like nothing was disturbed by any creature, it just looked like marshmallow had engulfed your backyard.
Yes, it was that heavy, wet snow that just clings to the trees and everything. And it was just winter wonderland when you woke up the next morning.
Did you put lights in the backyard? Is that what we're seeing here?
These are just little landscape lights around my patio, which is good for nighttime.
Yeah, that worked out great. Great to stalk the snow as it continued to fall. Now, if I recall correctly, New Jersey, Long Island, Rhode Island, coastal Massachusetts, I mean, you guys were seeing like several inches of fresh snow accumulation per hour. Is that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was 1 to 2 inches per hour at one point, and then I think some spots even got up to like 3 or 4.
That is insane. I don't know that I've ever seen, let's just call it 3 feet of snow, because that's what some places saw. We'll show you all the snow totals in just a second, but I really want to let this video play out. I was discussing with my family. I'm like, I think the most snow I've ever seen in a single like snow accumulation is probably like 18 inches. Again, it was in New York. I mean, in Charlotte here, we got like 8 or 9 inches of snow this winter, which was insane for us. And we were closed, no school for a week.
Right.
New York City went to school the next day. Long Island went back like 2 or 3 days later, as did Boston. I assume New Jersey was the same macho, like everybody back, let's go.
Right. I know Monday the schools had off pretty much through the entire state. Tuesday, I think there was a delay in my township anyway. I don't know some of them I think were closed. But we usually are only closed maybe a day or two for schools, and that's it. Everything gets cleared out real fast. They get the plows around here.
That was the moment right there. I'm sorry. You just woke up. You just woke up and there's like an additional foot of snow.
It was like 11 o'clock at night, and then it was like 7 the next morning. I was like, wow.
I was going to ask you how long you stayed up because I don't know.
Yeah.
At some point you went to bed, but I mean, like you're just
Right.
glued to like what's happening outside.
I was like, let me just go to bed and get up early in the morning, see what goes on. Because,
Yeah.
the models were kind of like flipping back and forth. They're like, it might still be heavy by Monday morning. It might not be. So I was like, let me wake up and see what it does.
There were some model threats, a lot of confusion, but you also mentioned that it started out as rain, right? So was there a moment where you were like, is this going to happen or not?
So it was predicted from days before that it was going to start as rain. So I wasn't too worried. But since it is a Miller B, if you ever experience a Miller B coastal storm, these things are a pain. Frank's waving
his hand.
He knows.
Do you remember January 25th?
Exactly.
That would be the Miller B storm we had to put up with down here.
So
yes, it sucks. I'm writing a
they're
report
not
on it.
fun.
It sucks to write reports on them too.
They are not fun to deal with. Because if you don't get that cold air coming in here, you're
Right.
dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
we had the cold air. That was the least of the problems back down here on the 25th. Not a problem with the cold air at the surface. The loft, a whole different story. But
Yeah.
anyway,
That was some of the
let's get out of
coldest
Peter's
snow.
way and let him tell the story.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. That was some of the
Yeah.
coldest snow we got. I mean, there's nothing worse, Peter. I would say, and I don't know if you agree with me, but like cold snow, okay, like that's cold, right? You gotta take precautions. I think the worst thing is cold rain because it's like robbing you of the snow, but also like now you're wet.
Right. What fun is cold rain?
That right. It's like 32.5 degrees, and you're just shaking your fist at Mother Nature, like wow.
Exactly.
So I mean, obviously that's not what happened here.
Yeah.
We
speak to those who think that 33 in rain is the worst weather possible.
Yeah.
Keep it raining with it about 2 degrees colder and see what you think.
That I mean, I was giving a generalization, but yes, fair enough. I'm also reminded that we have a weather anniversary this week, and I have a feeling there'll be a story time with Frank coming up. The snowstorm of 2004 in Rock Hill, which dumped 22 inches of snow here in the Carolinas, which was
have stories to tell about that. Even though I was in Pennsylvania, I have stories to tell about that.
I knew you were keeping your finger on the pulse. And I'm going to skip ahead to one of my tabs for this week because it's going to just kind of, in case you've been under a rock, here is how much snow fell across the entire Northeast with the system that rolled through earlier this week, which for the record was February 22nd and 23rd. This lovely AI generated graphic from our friend Brad Panovich. Now the top snow report, and I should have Googled this before the show, was 37.9 inches. Who's 39 inches, 38 inches? Who's counting at that point, right? And it was at TF Green AP in Rhode Island. And I've been meaning for 3 days, and I'm doing it right now, to Google what that is. Does anybody know?
That is Providence. PVD.
That's just Providence. But what is TF Green?
That's the name of the airport.
That's the airport. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that's just the name of the airport, like
That makes
Reagan
so much
National
sense
in Washington,
because
or
airports,
Douglas International in Charlotte.
I really thought because it said green, it was going to be like a golf course.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
It sounds like a golf course. But okay, well that makes sense, right? Because we take a lot of measurements at airports. And I'll tell you, at one point, I saw islip on Long Island on the list. I don't think it's made this particular list, but this particular list, because it ranks all of the top totals, really zeroes in on Rhode Island and Massachusetts. No offense, New Jersey, right? But we got into these 30-inch numbers up there in Rhode Island and in Massachusetts, and they were quite impressive. Now we do know that in addition to the snowfall totals, places like Montauk, which is as close to Rhode Island as you can essentially be, but still be on Long Island, because it is that far east, also got like 80-mile-per-hour winds at times. We had like hurricane force winds with this because, and I have a satellite image here, it was not an eye, right, Frank? But like it looked like a Category 2 hurricane to some extent.
It sort of looked like one. I actually have a visible satellite image here, and my screen share that I just started.
Here it comes.
So you can switch to that. And yeah, it does. It's going to take a minute to load up the loop here, but yes, it does kind of look like there's an eye feature there, and it's not because it's a hurricane. It's not a hurricane; just kind of looks like one. But the eye feature forms from a different process. In this particular case, it's what's called the warm seclusion. Means that some warm air has become trapped within the center of the storm. And in that area aloft, it results in a temperature inversion forming. So you don't get any clouds and upward motion in that area. So you end up with what looks like an eye in the middle of a winter storm. This is not the most dramatic example. I think it was the 1978 blizzard. Really did look like a hurricane.
And I think that's the one folks from Massachusetts were constantly calling back to as their benchmark storm of record.
Right. It may be that one, it may be a different one. I'm not sure. But that one really did look like a hurricane. It wasn't one, but it really looked like one. And this sort of looks like one. It kind of looks like a hurricane that's in the process of becoming extra tropical, that you got all the thunderstorms out here and wrapping around onto the backside of it. And then you have this dry air tongue that's coming in. It kind of looks like a hurricane that's almost not a hurricane anymore.
Yeah, like a disorganized hurricane. I'll take that. Peter, is this your new snowstorm of record? Is this your benchmark?
This is not my highest, but it's in my top 5, I would say.
It's not your highest?
Believe it or not, no.
Wow.
I have had 2 feet. I've had a little over 2 feet with storms in the last, probably since like 2009. It's been, I've had a few big ones.
Because they're in New Jersey with this storm, you said you got, what was it, 19?
19,
which again is an impressive amount of snow. And I'm sure there are a lot of Southerners listening to this right now that are going, yeah, that's a lot of snow. But again, not the winner of who got the greatest amounts of snow. Matter of fact, I'm going to pop this map up. That's Frank's screen share. Here is a map of of the Northeast, and we can just let's go from north to south, shall we? And I wish it had eliminated the preliminary numbers, because we're going to have some really small numbers next to some really big numbers. But I know in particular off the top of my head, like New Bedford, Massachusetts got at least 31 inches of snow. Again, Providence, we're seeing numbers pushing that 38. That TF Green Airport must be in here someplace. Anybody know where it is? It's in here someplace. Somebody in the comments must know where it is. Oh, there it is. Again, preliminary of 0.7. Get out of there. That was not the winner. Coastal Connecticut, I'm seeing in New London at least 24 inches. Again, here's Montauk. I got to just shout out the folks at the Weather Channel. They had a Reynolds Wolf out there at the Montauk Lighthouse. They shot a beautiful drone video. I don't have the rights to show it to you right now, but just Google it later. It's absolutely beautiful. Montauk Lighthouse is a place of sentimental value for me, and it was just very, very gorgeous to see. Islip again coming in at about 29. Smithtown, my hometown's got 28.8. Remember that when I show you a video coming up here in a little bit. Let's go to New York City. The official observations for New York City don't come from an airport. They come from Central Park, which for some reason isn't on here, but I bet you Frank will look it up for me and tell me what it was. Lower Manhattan's got 22 inches. He's like, he's giving me more work. So New Jersey. So yeah, New Jersey. Now, I don't know how much you want to say about where you are or aren't, but we do see some 19s. We also do see some numbers in the 20s there in New Jersey. So
yeah.
Do you know what the greatest snowfall total in New Jersey was? I don't, but I'm going to try to find out.
The highest, I think, was 26 in Monmouth County, just above Ocean. Yeah, right around that area.
I just figured out that if I go to the right-hand side, there's a list, and I typed in NJ, and there you go, 26. Nice job. We did this by state.
26. There you go.
Yeah, we go to New York. I don't know where Tomt Hill is, but they got 27.8. Connecticut got 14. No, there were definitely more reports than that in Connecticut. Maybe it's because I can't see Connecticut. Either way, there we go. Yeah, there's some 30s. So yeah, it's only showing me what's on the screen.
19.7, James. It was
19.7 is Central Park?
19.7
Okay,
inches
there you
in
go.
Central Park.
All right. Well, that was a really poor demonstration of how to use this great tool from NOAA. I'm going to go ahead and just put it in the link so other people can go play with
And
it.
their peak wind gust was 43 miles an hour.
43. Okay.
That's Central Park.
That's
which
a
is
lot.
pretty good because that particular weather station is kind of surrounded by trees.
It is, and it's like
so
up on a building, and
right.
Yeah, it's like not. It's not like it's in the middle of the meadow.
Yeah, the peak winds are going to be less. Like for example, the peak at Teterboro was 48, Bayonne was 53, Newark Airport 54, 61 in the Bronx at Fordham. Let's see, Bayville, Nassau County 59 was the peak. LaGuardia 52, JFK 62. So yeah, the winds were screaming.
Yeah, and again, Montauk had that 80, which
84.
84
at Montauk. Yeah.
Okay, so if that was that was a gust, or that must have been a gust, right?
Peak gust, yeah.
Okay, all right. So a hurricane would have needed what, 74 sustained? So that's a hurricane gust of at least a Cat 1, if not a Cat 2.
Yeah, it's Cat 1.
Cat 1. All right. See?
Frank's no, wait, 84 is in the Cat 2 range. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's in the Cat 2 range. My bad.
I feel not as dumb now. So that's good.
Oh, wait. So, no, I'm wrong. I was looking at knots, not miles per hour. The high end of Cat 1 is 95 miles an hour. It's 82 knots.
Okay.
Sorry.
Wow. There you go. Here's some video from my parents' house. You can see, again, this is in that Smithtown area, about 28 inches. My Aunt Joan shot some video and sent it to me, and I presume she knows I'm going to use it on the show. So here it is.
Good morning, James. It's Aunt Joan reporting in from Kings Park, New York, which of course is here on Long Island, where any snow you're seeing is really blowing snow. I don't think it's falling from anywhere but the trees on the roof. So the snow is pretty much stopped, but the winds have picked up. Probably here with about 18 inches thus far. But if you can see behind me, I just want to give a shout out to the town of Smithtown, who has been out all night in the most treacherous conditions, plowing the streets here at my mother's home. So the streets are passable thanks to the town of Smithtown, and hopefully will be passable here in a minute or two as I clear the walkway just for emergency purposes. But take a look. It's really quite something. So far, the blizzard of 2026 on Long Island. More soon. James, this is probably the video you want. This is where the wind is really picking up. It's blowing snow. It's not actually snowing, but the wind is absolutely picking up. I'm trying to make it across the yard to knock some snow off some of the bushes to try and save them before their branches break and before the wind gets any stronger. Over and out.
Over and out, indeed. And I mean, she touches upon the actual definition, right, Frank, of a blizzard. She's talking about the winds.
Right. Exactly. That's one of the criteria. The criteria number one, of course, has to be snowing to be a blizzard. But not only does it have to be snowing, it has to be snowing really hard, where the visibility is at no greater than a quarter mile. It has to be doing that for at least 3 hours. And the wind has to be blowing hard, too, either sustained winds or frequent gusts of at least 35 miles an hour.
Yeah,
so all that has to be going on for 3 hours consecutively to be determined to be called a blizzard.
Yeah, the actual definition of blizzard. I feel like conversationally blizzard gets thrown around a lot, but this was the first blizzard they've had by definition in several years, because you got to meet all of that criteria. I mean, that is just an insane amount of snow. By the way, that street light right there on the left-hand side of your screen is no longer there, I'm told, because allegedly when the plow came back around, either hit or pushed enough snow into the street light to knock it over. So it's because it's not there. This is the same shot. This is the same driveway. If you look over there on the left, there's no street light.
Yeah,
but then when you watch the night,
things sometimes.
Yeah, the good news is the plow is owned by the town and the street light's owned by the town, so they'll work it out amongst themselves, I presume. But Pete, let me actually ask you about that because we heard it mentioned from my aunt. We've seen it in some of these videos. We talked about how quickly the schools got reopened. Equipment wise, like you guys have plows, so you're able to move a lot of this snow. What was your observation? What is your understanding of how plows work where you are in New Jersey?
Well, I know I can speak for my township. They do come around a couple times during and after the storm. I had one come by at least like 4 times within like a 12-hour period. So they do usually clean it up pretty fast. The last storm I had, they only came around once. I was like trapped in for 3 days. So I guess it depends on, the storm, how much snow you get. But, and if they want to open schools or not. So, but this one was really quick this time around. And it usually is.
I'm going to come back to the word trapped in just a moment. But that was, when I first came to the South from the North, I was like, where are the plows? And we have a couple here in Charlotte, and they do get the primary roads cleared off. And I'd get on my soapbox and I'd be like, where are the plows? Where are the plows? Where are the plows? And people would be like, it just doesn't make sense for us to have plows. This isn't town officials speaking. I've never actually like asked the mayor. This is just people who live here are just like, hey, economically, I don't think it makes sense for us to have plows. They're just going to sit around all day. But the thing that I got reminded of this week, looking at traffic cameras, looking at videos, in the North, they attach plows to other vehicles like garbage trucks, which makes sense. Now, you do still have to buy the plow attachment, but you're not buying a whole truck.
Right.
So I'm hoping the mayor is watching tonight here in Charlotte, because when we got snow and ice here, I never saw a plow come by once. That was sad. We waited for the sun to melt it all for free, and it took a week, Peter. It took a week. But you guys got like more snow today, right? It's just like snow on top of snow on top of snow. Like, are you like really tired of snow at this point?
Yeah. If it could get to spring like tomorrow, that would be great.
That'd be great.
But, I mean, the last 2 days or so, it's been really melting. I'm hearing like chunks of snow hitting my window from the roof. It's going down pretty fast, believe it or not.
Yeah. Now, in the immediate aftermath of the storm, some friends of mine on Long Island had a conundrum because they had the 28.8 inches of snow, and they had a unique home design feature that I don't think I would have considered until I was in this predicament myself. All of their doors opened outward. And that posed a problem on getting out of the house. So they came up with a solution. And that was to open the window, remove the screen, and go out the window, and he's gone.
Well, that works.
At least there was snow there to pad his fall.
He had plenty of padding. He looks quite amused. I believe the audio is, I did it. I got out. We're out of the house. Because they could, in fact, not get their doors open. I'm told that they don't have a door between their garage and the interior of their house yet. I mean, there you go, right? If you got to, whatever works.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to get out, that's the way to do it.
I like the dog. The dog's like, audio podcast listeners, what we're currently playing on the screen is video of a man climbing out a window and then essentially just disappearing into 30 inches of snow. That's what's happening. That's what's happening in this video.
Well, I've never had to do that. I can say that. So
that's good. You've never climbed through a window in or out, I hope. So
no.
let's try to keep it that way. Peter, what else do I need to ask you about when it comes to this blizzard to really help us understand the situation that presented you this week?
Well, I will say one thing that I do know is Atlantic City did not hit blizzard criteria. It was close. They got the wind gusts, but the visibility did not hit 3 hours. It was 2 hours under a quarter mile. So it came close, but
sometimes I wonder why the rules are as precise as they are.
You know, I mean, we had blizzard warnings over the entire state, which has been many, many years since we've had that. My last blizzard was 2016. It's almost exactly 10 years. So, it was, I'm not a fan of the snow and cold, but it was enjoyable, I guess, because we don't get blizzards that often, believe it or
Our
not.
chief Carolina Weather Group New Jersey correspondent is not a fan of the snow and the cold.
No.
You may want to apply for a transfer to a different bureau. like
maybe like Charlotte,
Hawaii, or if you want all 4 seasons, I would recommend Charlotte.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'll take the warmth and the thunderstorms any day of the week.
Now, we did get thunderstorms here the other night. I'm going to play video of that in just a moment, but I do want to let folks know, as we're coming up on the halfway mark of this week's show, that if you would like a hat as cool as Peter's hat, you can scan the QR code on your screen right now. Support the Carolina Weather Group by shopping at our e-store. Peter is probably regretting not getting the beanie hat because he selected the black and white trucker hat and then found himself in the snow in a baseball cap, which is mesh in the back. So if you want to take advantage, that is the OG hat.
Are we still selling these?
We are selling very similar hats, except for now all 3 words are bolded, not just the middle word.
So I should get rid of this. No.
Vintage. You'll find it on eBay after the show. And so if you want to get yourself a trucker hat and a beanie hat, shipping is one flat cost. So there you go. QR code on your screen right now to check out the Carolina Weather Group e-store. You can support our show while also supporting your head or your shirt. Or you got shirts. Frank's wearing a shirt. You can't really see it, but if I make Frank full screen,
there we are.
There you go.
There you go. So, there you go. Perfect. Now, Peter mentioned thunderstorms, and I will tell you at about 2:30 a.m. the other night. I can't even pretend that I was woken up by it because I was already awake, but this happened. Take a listen. It was loud enough that I could feel it vibrating in my chest. Because thunder striking that close to where you are will certainly get your attention. Again, it was in the middle of the night, so I do think it woke folks up. Luckily, it did not wake my children up because as soon as I heard it, I went, that's going to be a problem. I don't know how they slept through it, but they did. And we have a chance of some more thunderstorms in the forecast for tomorrow, which is Thursday. So let's go down to Columbia where Frank's got to look at the forecast, Frank.
Sure. Let's do that. And we do have some thunderstorm chances tomorrow, especially in South Carolina, but maybe a few spots in North Carolina get that too. To the screen share. I said to the screen share. There we go. And there are clouds all over the place, according to infrared satellite pictures. We're just about covered up by clouds because we have a cold front moving in. And here's the precipitation. Here's the radar composite showing some rain, a little bit of rain over North Carolina and upstate South Carolina, more substantial rain back in Tennessee and Kentucky, and back into Missouri and Kansas. That moving our way as that cold front moves our way. Let's see what that looks like on the computer models. This is the hot off the presses 0Z run of the HER model. 0Z means zero universal coordinated time, which is what we used to call Greenwich Mean Time, but that time zone gets as assigned the letter Z, so we call it Z time. 7 p.m. when we're on standard time. But anyway, we're not here to talk about timekeeping. We're here to talk about the weather. So as we advance this forward, you can see rain spreads over North Carolina overnight tonight, eventually into parts of South Carolina. Steadiest and heaviest rain affects North Carolina. But as we go into the day Thursday, it looks like we see some thunderstorms popping up along the front. That's the blotchiness there in the yellows and reds showing up mostly over South Carolina, but somewhat into North Carolina too. And that pushes through during the afternoon and into the evening. It is a little bit slower to move through the coastal areas in South Carolina. So that front, as it starts to become stationary offshore, the rain hangs on through Friday. In fact, much of the day Friday into South Carolina while we dry out further north. Little wave of low pressure wants to ride along it Friday evening, so there could be one more batch of heavier rain there, especially in the low country of South Carolina Friday afternoon and evening. So let's go over to the GFS now. We'll use the GFS instead of the Euro for a change since it actually nailed the blizzard. It's right just often enough that it's dangerous. So we'll use the GFS this time. Yeah, golf clap.
Golf clap. Golf clap. Yeah.
Anyway, here we go. Little wave of low pressure comes through Friday night. Some rain mostly along the South Carolina coast, but maybe the Outer Banks gets a little bit of rain as well. And then we have a relatively quiet day. There's not much of a change in air mass, so temperatures don't go down much. And actually, it looks like Sunday could be a pretty warm day as another cold front approaches from the north. That has an Arctic air mass north of it, but at least for Sunday, we're still warm. Storm system rides along that front as it pushes toward the East Coast on Monday. Peter, you're going to get some more snow. Sorry, dude. As a lot of other places along the Mason-Dixon line in general will. And actually, it gets a little further south this time, down to even southern Virginia with a little bit of snow and ice there. And maybe it ends a little snow in North Carolina, if the GFS is to be believed anyway, as colder air pushes in. Meanwhile, just rain further south for us in South Carolina. GFS says the whole levels get cold enough for a little freezing rain there early Tuesday morning.
I'm sorry, what were those words?
I don't remember already. Anyway, I'm not sure if I believe the GFS here, but it could. Yeah, we'll see. Cold air chasing moisture usually doesn't work even with ice storms. But anyway, that is a pretty strong, cold, high pressure area coming in. So Tuesday is probably going to be a cold day. Another front moves through is right on its heels around the middle of next week. And then one more cold snap before we probably go into warm pattern for a while later next week and into next weekend, and maybe a dry one too. So no sign of rain again until the middle of the following week or even the end of it as another front moves through. If the GFS is to be believed, and we're talking about 14 days out, so we probably shouldn't believe it.
No, well, I don't think we should believe any model 14 days out. But thank you for that update. And I will say I will take some rain. We could use some rain. The drought has been pretty gnarly around here, serious and extreme in some places. There was a small little fire on the side of the highway in Greensboro today. Now, I don't know what caused it, but I'm going to guess that really dry grass conditions didn't help it. Or it probably did help it, depending on how you want to frame that. Because there was, again, a small grass fire on the side of I-40 near PTI Airport. Thank you for that update, Frank. And I'm gonna progress to too many tabs. I think is that what we're up to? Time check.
Is it too many tabs time?
I think it's too many tabs time. Roll the video. It's time for Too Many Tabs, the part of the show where we got to clear out all those bookmarks that are open on our screen. That's right, Peter. Since you were last here, we have animations now.
Well, this is getting too fancy now. Come on.
So
Me
fancy.
first.
Oh, you okay? All right, Frank first.
Yes, me first. Because I meant to show this when I was talking about the forecast and forgot. Okay. Look how warm it's going to be Sunday. That's your National Weather Service forecast.
Whoa.
That's South Carolina, and there is North Carolina. So all of South Carolina,
70s.
pretty much in the 70s Sunday. It's going to be nice. North Carolina, mostly in the 70s, some 60s, maybe only 58, 50s in the highest elevations. But overall, still looks like a nice, warm taste of spring there for most of the Carolinas on Sunday. However, look how it gets colder again by Tuesday. Only 40s for highs along the Virginia state line and low 50s for Charlotte, 60 for Wilmington. We're probably still warm in South Carolina, I guess. Let me take a peek there real quick there.
My thought was, it's funny, oh, yay, we're going to get back up to 70s. But, I mean, the last week has taught me nothing because we were like at 80 on Friday, and then we were back down to a morning low of 28 on Monday. So it was like roller coaster.
Right. Well, it's that time of year. Temperatures go up, temperatures go back down. We're in the transition season or going into it. The first day of spring by meteorological standards is just a few days away.
And pollen season is also quickly approaching.
As a matter of fact, as I was leaving church the other day, I noticed there was some pollen in one of the water puddles. And I'm like, oh, that's why I've been sneezing for the last 3 or 4 days. Pollen season starting. I have breaking news. The breaking news is that this cat, Stormy, is hungry.
Oh. I don't.
Because she's staring me down.
Oh, wait, I do have a stinger for that. There we go. Cat watch.
Anyway,
the cat is hungry. That is breaking. That is a complete,
there's
complete misuse of the breaking news stinger. I will reprimand myself later.
Anyway,
anyway.
here's the next tab that I have is the actual. This is from the NOAA, the National Weather Service. These are observations from that airport, TF Green Airport, Providence, Rhode Island.
I will never forget now that it's an airport.
Right, it is
And
the
not a
name of
golf
the airport
course.
in
Not a
Providence,
golf course.
Rhode Island. And here's the interesting parts here from the end of the storm here. This column's temperature, dew point, relative humidity, wind. I'm sorry, it's not wind. That's wind chill. Wind direction, wind speed and gust, weather going on, cloud cover, pressure, precipitation. This right here
What's that for?
is how much snow is on the ground. Not only did they have almost 38 inches of snow, they had 5 inches on the ground when the storm started. So at one point,
that's like total. Okay, because I was like, wait a second, they didn't report.
yeah, that's
40.
total on the ground. At one point, Providence, Rhode Island had 40 inches. Actually, you don't see it here in the hourly observations, but the next hourly ob that came in, it was 42 inches of snow on the ground. That
My
was
children would
snow
just
cover.
disappear if I put them in the snow.
Yeah, well, half
God.
of most adults would disappear with 42 inches of snow on the ground.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. I did see video, and again, I had the privilege of remotely covering the storm from a very warm place. So I was watching all the chopper shots and stuff flying around, and it was like people shoveling snow, but they were shoveling the snow like eye level.
Mm-hmm.
That's more like chiseling the snow, I think. Like
Right. Yeah, there was definitely heart attack snow by how much was.
I unfortunately think that is true.
Had the shovel.
I think that is true.
All right, and finally,
Okay.
I just have to remind everybody of.
There was a definite moment where I was like, does he intend to be showing whatever this is on the screen right now?
of Taste the Biscuit.
I'm not hearing the sound. I saw you unmute.
Y'all remember this from a few years back?
No, I have
Taste the
no
Biscuit?
idea what's
I guess you're not getting
happening.
the
Yeah.
audio, unfortunately.
No, what is happening right now?
Oh, you have to see this, James. Come on.
Apparently, I was under a rock in 2009. It said.
When was this posted? Yeah, 14 years ago, so 2012, I guess.
Oh, they were holding a banner that said 2009. Yeah, see,
This was
Toaster and
a
Moose.
mockumentary
2009,
that was
right?
created by some obscure director, and this was a part of it.
Well, I will say, do you know what thing from 2009 came back tonight in 2026? I'll answer at once.
2009?
Well, if you ignore the fact that it had a 9th season that I don't want to talk about, and we just looked at the date of the finale of the 8th season, which was 2009.
I know what you're going to say.
Anyway,
What is it, Peter?
Scrubs is back tonight?
Scrubs is back tonight. That will be what I'm watching when we get off the show.
Definitely.
Here tonight.
okay. Oh, I had one more tab,
Of course.
and then I will leave y'all alone with tab.
Okay.
I went back while you were talking and looked up the actual P&S report from the GSP Weather Service office from the late February 2004 winter storm.
Oh, okay. The anniversary on
And so
Thursday this week in the
that's-
Carolinas.
That's what's on my screen share.
Oh, that's
right
where I
now.
got to go back. And yeah. All
Mhm.
right. This
We'll
is the
start
P&S.
with
Okay.
the actual text. There's where the bullseye was in my
York
beloved
County.
hometown. 18 inches of snow in Rocca. That was the official. Well, let's think 17.9 at Winthrop.
That's
But there were some
crazy.
unofficial reports of up to 22 inches of snow in the Rock Hill area. Let's see. Over to Spartanburg, there was 8.1 inches at GSP Airport, 10 in Woodruff. Let's see. We don't care about Georgia. We're not going to bother with Georgia.
This week getting down to like the 1 inch mark. So we're like, "Rah," or whatever. Cabarrus, 13 in Kannapolis.
Right.
Mecklenburg says 14 to 17. Peter, Mecklenburg,
That's
it's a very
correct.
tall county.
Yeah.
It's got lots of differing numbers.
UNC Charlotte had a foot.
Yeah. They're still closed.
Foot in Rowan County. 16 inches in Weddington and Union County.
That's not far from me.
12 to 14 in around Davie County.
That's
Gaston
insane.
County had
Because
7 to 12 in general.
earlier in the show, when we were talking about the snow in New Jersey, I said the most snow I think I've ever seen in a single storm was 18 inches. But of course, that was in New York. But if I had been here in 2004, I would have seen that here.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Now, the story time with Frank aspect of this.
Oh, wait, hang on.
Get it, James.
Do.
Now it's time for story time with Frank.
Peter's totally cracking up tonight.
I just can't get over these graphics. Have I really not been here this long?
You've
not
got to
been there.
love AI.
You've not been here
James
since AI came
in
along.
like 30 seconds with his AI assistant.
We were like bare bones last time I was here.
Yeah.
Peter
Anyway, so
joked
I'm up in
Peter
Pennsylvania
joked before
for
the
this
show
one.
that the last time he was on, we were on Google Hangouts. So anyway, go ahead, Frank.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm up in Pennsylvania for this one, so I didn't get to live through it, the biggest snowstorm on record in my hometown. But I did get to forecast it, and it was way more than what we forecast. I mean, I remember the models. Some of the models were dry 3 days out. I think the NAM was dry, or was it the ADA? Was it the NAM at that point, or was it the ADA? I've forgotten. Anyway, the NAM, whatever meadowscale model it was we were using back then, was completely dry in the Carolinas, but the global models were putting out some snow. And the day before, some of the models were showing, I don't know, 4 to 6 maybe, some locally higher amounts in the Charlotte metro area. And then we end up getting roughly triple what what the models were showing the day before, just because it ended up being a convective snow, and the models just didn't handle it very well back then. They still don't do extremely well with it, but far better than they did 20 years ago.
I mean, looking at the map that's on the screen right now, it's set up perfectly over Rock Hill and Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
That little band. It's crazy. I can't even fathom that. And this is coming out of a winter where we got 8 to 10 inches of snow here in Charlotte.
Yeah. So anyway, I woke up that morning, and first thing I did was start looking around at what had happened, because it didn't have to be at work until that evening, and I saw these crazy reports coming out of my hometown. So I called my dad, and he said, "Yeah, last night about 8 o'clock, I had about 8 inches out back on the picnic table. I cleared it off, and then this morning there was another foot." I'm like, "And you didn't measure it? You're just guessing?" He's like, "Yeah, I didn't measure it." Come on, man.
Frank's dad, not a meteorologist.
Right.
Meanwhile,
anyway.
Peter, like, a couple weeks ago, when we had snow here, Frank screen shared, and he showed us his like hour by hour measurements. Like,
I believe that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just for contrast.
Yeah. So anyway, my dad, the area where he lived was right about where some of these 20 and 22 inch snow reports were coming from. So it's very believable that he had about 20. But he didn't measure it, even though it was almost a state record 24-hour snow.
Jay says, how long would I have had to have stayed home if I lived in 2004? Which I think means that he wasn't alive in 2004, which makes me feel
if I
old.
had time to open up one more tab, I would show you the daily high temperatures. 7 days after the storm, it got to 80 in Rock Hill. So yeah, it melted pretty quick.
The Carolinas is crazy, Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's crazy.
I kid you not. It got to 80 7 days after that storm. That snowstorm. So it melted fast.
Okay.
But yeah, the place, Rock Hill, was shut down for a couple of days for sure, even though it did melt pretty quick. Anyway, after I got off the phone with my dad, I called my grandfather, who didn't pass till 2013. So he saw this storm too, and he said, "Yeah, I've never seen anything like this."
Wow.
Says, "I've seen it snow a lot before, but nothing like this. This is crazy."
Meanwhile, so we're talking about this 2004 anniversary, which this week falls on Thursday, February 26th. But Tuesday, the 24th of this year, marks the 2016 tornado outbreak. So again, this time of year, it can give you anything.
Yeah, you can get a big winter storm even into March around these here parts. Yeah. You can get a major tornado outbreak. As a matter of fact, we were talking about the Enigma outbreak. Was it 2 weeks ago that we mentioned the Enigma tornado outbreak? That was right about we're just past the anniversary of that, and that was an awful tornado outbreak back in 1884 in late February. I mean, there were like there were no official ratings on them, but we would probably be calling them F2s, F3s, and maybe a F4 or 2 if they happen today.
It's a time of year where it is keeping you on the edge of your seats, as it is this week. All right, let me pop up some tabs. I'm going to do a hard pivot. We're going to talk about space. So you guys remember a couple weeks ago, NASA did a medical evacuation of Crew 11 from the International Space Station after one of the astronauts suffered a medical emergency. They wouldn't tell us what the medical emergency was, and they wouldn't tell us who. That changed today when they told us the who. NASA astronaut Mike Fink, who was the pilot for Crew 11, self-identified in a statement relayed today by NASA, saying that it was he who experienced the medical incident, requiring immediate attention from his crewmates aboard the International Space Station on January 7th. He writes, after further evaluation, NASA determined the safest course was an early return for Crew 11, not an emergency, but a careful coordinated plan to be able to take advantage of advanced medical imaging not available on the space station. On January 15th, we splashed down off the coast of San Diego after an amazing 5.5-month mission. So interesting. They're still trying to say it wasn't really an emergency. It was just they terminated the mission early. I'm guessing if it had been an emergency, they would have left sooner than they did. But again, he suffered some sort of medical incident that resulted in him leaving before Crew 12 arrived, which we had not seen before. It doesn't say what the medical incident was, but we do now know that it involved him needing advanced medical imaging, which slightly narrows down what it could have been, but I'm not gonna further guess. But that was an unexpected news drop today from NASA, because we thought all the news today was going to be about Artemis, which is now back inside the vehicle assembly building at Kennedy Space Station Center. It took about 12 hours for it to make the journey from the launch pad back to the vehicle assembly building. During the show, they dropped an update on their blog, which, by the way, if you want to just like be in the know with all the space reporters, it is in fact their NASA blog where they put out a lot of these press releases on the fly. So the SLS, the Space Launch System rocket, and the Orion spacecraft for the NASA Artemis II mission arrived back to the vehicle assembly building from Launch Pad 39B at approximately 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on February the 25th. While in the assembly building, technicians will troubleshoot the helium flow issue to the rocket's upper stage, replace batteries on the rocket's upper stage, core stage, and solid rocket boosters, as well as service its flight termination system. So we were expecting, after two launch windows, which would have been January and February, that they were going to have to go back to do most of what they described there as resetting things and charging batteries. But they did find a ongoing helium leak after troubleshooting a hydrogen leak. And this was after the successful wet dress rehearsal number 2 last week. They found the helium flow issue after that. They decided they had to go back to the vehicle assembly building to do these repairs, which means that the next launch attempts, which were going to be March, are probably out of the question. So now we're probably looking at April. What is the vehicle assembly building, you ask? That's such a great question, Peter. I'm so glad you asked, because I love nothing more than an excuse to roll any of the video that we shot when the Carolina Weather Group went to Kennedy Space Center. Let's go inside the vehicle assembly building and get a feel for what they are doing inside there tonight. So how tall is the vehicle assembly building? About 530 feet tall. Wow.
So this is the building where we stacked the Artemis 1 moon rocket and where we'll stack the coming Artemis missions. But this is also the building where all the Saturn V's for the Apollo program and all 135 space shuttles were stacked in here. So some people refer to this building as the Space Cathedral because there's a lot of history in here. As we're making our way down the building, I'll try to point out some of the original components that were used for Apollo. This is kind of their testing and checkout cells, right? So before you stack all the pieces on top of each other, you want to make sure that they're all going to fit together and they're all ready for launch. You can kind of think of the rockets we bring in here as a kind of highly explosive set of Lego, right? We're kind of, all roads lead to Kennedy Space Center, and here at the Vehicle Assembly Building, we get all the pieces and parts of the rockets.
During the Artemis 1 launch, they rolled back for hurricanes. hurricanes like inside this building?
Yes, so this is Florida, so it's an occurrence that, we're prepared for. So essentially, all the doors, I mean, they're mostly closed right now, but they kind of, close up the building nice and snug. And yeah, this building is prepared to take on hurricanes. So
you want to survive an hurricane?
Yes, and the building next door, the Launch Control Center, that's the place you want to be. So when we have hurricanes here, there's a whole team that rides them out. And so they get to sleep and have a sleepover in the Launch Control Center, making sure that the center is all safe and sound. But what happens is the crawler transporter rolls under here at its top speed of about 1 mile per hour. The platform, you can kind of see it sitting on yellow jacks right now. So the crawler comes up under there, raises up, that gray platform sits on it, and then rolls to the launch pad.
This day is insane. This is by far insane.
Just to give you an idea of how tall.
We just took the elevator up to the 16th floor.
So here's 2 of our high bays. This one right across from us was used for space shuttle. So you can see the orange platforms in there and the gray. We can't see it, but in this gray box over here, that's where the access point into the shuttle was. So if they needed to, put payloads in there or put people in there to get everything configured for the astronauts, that was kind of their access point for shuttle. And you can kind of see the big doors a little better. On the bottom level, it's kind of like big barn doors that open up horizontally. And then this way, they open up vertically. It takes about 45 minutes to get the doors all the way opened up. But you can kind of see where the space shuttle maxed out on this side. So they didn't need to open all those vertical doors to get the shuttle out. But for Artemis and Apollo, they do have to open those doors all the way up because they're so much taller than the space shuttle was.
The vehicle assembly building is not the place to work if you don't like heights. It is the tallest single-story building by volume. And it just seems to go forever.
Right here, actually hooked up to the crane right now. The boosters are 5 segments tall. For Space Shuttle, they were 4 of these segments. So this is the bottom segment. And actually, the entire weight of the rocket is stacked on these solid rocket boosters. So they're the first part of the rocket that gets stacked before they put the big orange core stage in between them. And you can kind of see in there some of the platforms are extended in the high bay. So those platforms go in and out. Imagine giant hydraulic kitchen drawers. That's essentially what those platforms are. And those are the access points for the workers to get to the rocket. And they come to us via rail from Utah. Then they wheel them over here into this. The crane team gets all ready to go, and then up right where we were standing and over and down into High Bay 3. Yeah, so full scale of 1/5 of one of the boosters. And so you got 2 of those, plus the core stage, plus the upper stage. So it's hard to visualize it, but it's a pretty big rocket.
We haven't even reached lunchtime yet on Friday, and already the first big surprise inside the vehicle assembly building waiting for us, the director of the Kennedy Space Center.
Anyways, I'm super excited to have you guys out here today.
You're the first woman to hold this position, and we're getting ready to send the first woman to the moon.
Absolutely.
What does all of that mean to you?
We had our first Artemis 1 mission, as you said, at the end, capstone of our 60th anniversary. It was a big anniversary present for us. But yeah, first woman and first person of color on the surface of the moon, lunar. I have my personal favorite that I picked out in the astronaut that I want to go, but who knows? I'll be making an announcement for the crewed flight of Artemis 2 sometime this year, soon, but then, of course, Artemis 3 is when the crew will actually be descending down to the surface of the moon. So that'll be the really exciting. Right now? And then, of course, Artemis 3 will be bringing up our astronauts in Orion, matching up and bringing them down. 2025 is when we're shooting for. But there is some complexities and some dependencies there, so we'll see.
There are a lot of cool things at NASA. I think the VAB might be one of my favorite because it is the persistent home of historic missions to the moon and eventually to beyond. This is the one that has been here through. So yes, she did in fact say that they were targeting Artemis 2 for 2025. You don't need to check your watch. It is 2026 because we shot that video about 3 years ago to date, in February of 2023, I went down to Kennedy Space Center by invite of NASA and shot video on location and beamed it back to our chief CWG New Jersey correspondent, Peter, who were making day turn edits because then we started playing all of this video back live on location for the launch of Crew 6, right? It was 6? Yes, NASA Crew 6. So I just did a headline about Crew 11 and 12, but it was a whopping 3 years ago that we were down there covering Crew 6. So pretty crazy stuff. I had the QR code on the screen if you want to check out the rest of what we did, including going onto the crawler that carries SLS back and forth between the VAB and the launch pad. We got to go up there. It's from, as you heard, the Apollo era. It's really, really cool. QR code's on the screen right now if you want to go check out episode 445, which is a deep cut at this point. So, rounding out my tabs, Tim Buckley, chief meteorologist at WFMY, shot this video of the plane commonly referred to as Air Force One doing touch and goes in Greensboro, as it does fairly frequently. Before you leave me angry comments, I know it's not called Air Force One when the president's not on board, but that's what most people are going to call it when they see that plane. And so the plane commonly referred to as Air Force One spotted in North Carolina this week. By the way, Tim did text me during the show, Peter, to tell me that he likes your title. So don't ever change it.
I'll keep it.
Tim. Yeah. And we also had news out of North Carolina this week. These pictures and an update here from Governor Josh Stein, who visited Woodfin, which is just north of Asheville, to announce that the state will be providing $5.7 million for flood resilience projects along the French Broad River there in the Asheville area. Things like dredging and expanding the river and some tidal pools where they're going to hold excess water. This is all in response to Hurricane Helene and all the flooding that they saw down there, of course, in Asheville. So they had this announcement since our last show. Our friend, wow, can you guys tell how late it just got on me? My brain just like shut off. So
brain fart.
And so anyway, we're looking to bring you more of that coming up here on the show, because I think there's a lot more to touch upon as the state continues to recover from Helene all these months later. Before we go, our friends at Girls Who Chase will be putting on a all things radar severe weather workshop Saturday, March 7th. It starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time, or as you can see on the screen, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central time. This is online. It is virtual, and this is an opportunity for everyone, not just girls who want to chase, boys who want to chase, as well can register for this workshop. It's delivered in partnership with Comet and MetEd, and it allows you to get some fundamental operational and accessible kind of knowledge base for storm chasers and weather enthusiasts of all levels. And so here at CWG, if you want to go support and see all the great educational material from GWC, you can go to girlswhochase.com/radar workshop to register for this upcoming event. They've had some fabulous events in the past that we have seen and watched and endorsed. And so they're doing a radar workshop here coming up. And registration does include a 60-minute pre-recorded introduction called Radar 101. And so if you'd like to join them, you can join them there on Saturday, March 7th, virtually from the comfort of your home. We need an animation that is end scene. Maybe play on the AOL, goodbye. To close out tabs, Frank. We got
James, you're showing your age. Come on.
Have you seen my forehead on the screen? My age doesn't need any help.
Oh.
Frank, I think.
Oh.
Frank?
Frank just disappeared.
Frank.
All right.
Well, I was going to ask Frank if he had anything else he wanted to discuss before the show wrapped up.
Oh, there we go. All right,
There it goes.
we're back.
Yeah, my internet connection just suddenly went, but it came back.
So.
And I was just about to make the joke, but wait, I have one more tab, James.
No, we got to go. Time's up. But really, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay, great.
I was just trying to scare you. That's all.
I know. So true. So it has been an hour. We're now after 10 o'clock. If you're watching live with us here on Wednesday, we would love for you to join us for these live shows on Wednesday so you can chat with us. If you're watching or listening someplace else later, we do appreciate all of the places where our show is available for replay at a later date. Peter, please come back again soon, and I hope it's not for snow. For your sake, I hope you can come talk about beautiful fall weather or like hoagies or Philly cheesesteaks or something.
Yeah, hopefully,
up in State College and report back to us.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
I think,
or you can report back to us on the quality of the seeded buns that are seeded rolls now. That is it Pat's that's doing that, or is it Gino's?
Right, I think it is Pat's.
One of them has sesame seeds available on there.
Yeah, that's a big thing up here. It's
for many years we've talked about getting Peter down here, and I just Googled to make sure I wasn't dreaming this. But if Sam was here, which he's not, so I'll just play Sam for a moment. Peter would feel just at home because in 2024 the state did get its first Wawa.
Really?
Yeah, it's in Kill Devil Hills, which is like 8 hours from me, which is not helpful for
So
this
the coast,
conversation.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, but we did in fact get a Wawa, which is the most New Jersey thing I could think to share right now.
Yeah, New Jersey's crazy for Wawa.
Now we already have Sheets in North Carolina.
We do,
need them
right?
in South Carolina.
Yeah,
we need them.
We need a Buc-ee's up here, like desperately.
Oh, don't get me started. Don't get
Come
me
on.
started.
We need one.
Scotty Powell will buy you a brisket and send it up.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's Peter. That's Frank. I'm James. Thanks for joining us this week here on the Carolina Weather Group. Stay subscribed. We have more new shows coming your way each and every week. I think he's waving, but it kind of looks like he's reaching out. So, all right. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
The credits are missing.
Oh.
I'm going to start calling it pulling a James when you're supposed to be doing something and the
supposed
button
to do
doesn't work,
something.
or you
I'm
lost
not responsible. Not responsible for things after 10 o'clock.
All these graphics we had, and we don't have the credits.
That's so true.
Come
so
on.
true, Peter. It's so true. Anyway, I want to thank the people whose names are scrolling at the bottom of the screen because they're the most important part of the credits each and every week. Those are our members on Patreon and YouTube membership. As for all the people who work on the show, they'll have to get their time in the sun some other time. So good night.